folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join us in the wild landscape of Scotland. And for today's adventure we're joined by a special guest. The channel DJ once again returns for this adventure. And if you missed the last video, then you'll not know where we are. We're actually in the wild lands of Glenisla, kind of at the far side of the Backwater Dam, which is a big Scottish reservoir, a big dam. And in today's video we're literally trying to get to this little abandoned cottage here at the far side of the river at the bottom of the hill. And we're following this old track, which at one time potentially was an old farm track that led all the way to some of the farms which are now gone under the waters of Backwater Dam, which was built in 1969. The land here was flooded. Well, the land over at the far side of the hill. Yeah, in this video we still have to try and navigate our way out of this madness after we see what's over at the far side here. And it's just a paradise scene. At the end of last week's video, well, not last week's video, but the last episode, it looked like the rain was away to come on. But now we're further down the path. The sun is almost shining through the clouds. Look at the character of this house at the far side, folks. Check it out, folks, look at this. We literally spotted this place from like 3 miles away, and it's been a mad mission to come here. The last adventure, the last video on the channel, we were going to come here and we actually found a cool old abandoned farm at the other side, and that was in the very last video. So today in this episode it's cool to come here and see this little cottage and the amount of wee houses we found and documented. It's so interesting. Is it? Often these places are obviously used from the local farmers for like shepherding. Yeah, look, it's got quite a new fireplace in it though. Let's go and look at the historical detail of this. It's got bales. The farmer will use this when he's lambing. Yeah, it's like there's almost been a door there at one time potentially. Yeah, that's like a lot of these hill houses though. They're either used by farmers or gamies nowadays. Look at this here. The wee fireplace. See, it's like it's actually been lived in the 1900s, because it's got electricity and stuff. It's got lath and plaster. We can actually see quite a lot just from looking in here, and it's the historical details like the wee Bakelite light switch and stuff that I just love to see. Wow, folks, I'm keeping the camera rolling here. If the farmer comes and chases us, we'll keep it rolling. Is there a way in through here? Look at the electricity wires and stuff. Yeah, and the old metal sash windows, potentially from like the 1960s even, that would have been in. Wow, what a crazy place. Look at the little back window. I need to go down and document this. And look how it's built down within this. They've cut away at the land and created a little bit. Look at this, it's like a little kitchen pantry. Wow, this is similar to the wee house that was in last week's videos, folks. I went to a wee cottage and it's like this, but so much further gone. It's amazing to see one which is in better condition. Look at the wee windows. Sometimes these houses just had little windows to let a bit of light in. Oh aye, there's fancy stones been set, like it's been a farmhouse garden at a certain time. Look at the character of this. The house, the roof and stuff's no the worst. Look at the wee window. Wow. I love the character of stuff like this, folks. Check it out. It's like a little window in the final years of its existence. At one time the person may have looked out, pondering their day's work on the farm or whatever they were going to be doing, making their living. And then places like this, the land's obviously used from nearby, like bigger farms and stuff. But when we're up in this sort of area, it's cool just to document these as they stand and see what's left. Obviously we come with the greatest respects, like the landowner and the farmer that uses this still for the sheep. You can see that kind of where the shed's been at this side. Look at this, folks, the old roof line of the shed. It's like there's been a couple of different sheds. And then look at this, the old chassis of his trailer. You can imagine them maybe carting the bales from these nearby fields. But yeah, when we saw this way in the distance, folks, it was just a mad adventure to come here. And that's what I love on this channel. When you know there's something like this in the distance to be seen, often the adventure to get here, you find so much other things. Like that whole video in the last episode, when we saw that wee farm with like the lime kiln and stuff, we never would have seen that if it hadn't been for this property. And that's why it's cool just to come and see it. Tick another one off the list. When we knew it was here, it was so cool to come and see it. And look how there's chimneys in each of these rooms. Yeah, wow, what is even in here? Look how it's wooden lined. That's how a lot of these houses actually were. Wow, I'm just taking it all in, folks. Check it out, folks, there's an old piece of metal there lying in the grass. Maybe an old gate hinge or whatever that was in this area. I was just having a wee walk around looking at some of the architectural details there on the roof. It's just mad to see like how far we came to see this place. Yeah, most likely. This croft was maybe upkept and maintained, and then the one over there was just abandoned for a longer time. Potentially.
Yeah, that looks like an old croft like to this.
Just right here. Yeah, but I think maybe this would have been related. There maybe was an original croft house here somewhere. This would have just been kept on maybe until like the 1900s. And then one day they just sold out to the boy down the road. But maybe that croft over there from the last video sold out to these folk. With that money or whatever, they were like, oh, we'll hit to build a better farmhouse. Now we've got more land. But this looks ancient here as well. Maybe this would have been the farmhouse originally, and then this would have been their sheds. Or like their sheep sorting area. But also this could have been an old, like the old foundations would be gone now for here. Look at this. The wall comes out here at an angle, right, which is unusual. Because look, the opposite side comes out the opposite way. It's like this piece of the house here has been added on. You see that detail? That chimney would have been the end of the house. And that'll be how there's a crack leading down here, see it? That's what I believe this is. It's been a wee croft house, and then all these bits have been added on in the 1900s. And that was probably new windows and stuff at that time. Look at this bit of green wood they've used to repair the window. It's just like an old random bit of wood.
No, the other side's got the same.
Is it the very same? That's the most unusual. Wow, what a crazy place, folks. Like, yeah, so that must be a bedroom added on there. And look, there's a wee door that leads through to that back room. And look, it's painted yellow in the hallway. We can see the lath and plaster there, and the old wooden internal walls. That wee fire and stuff's been put in at a later time, maybe even by the shepherd if he's sitting in here lambing the sheep all hours of the day. Through the night, sometimes it's the cold winter nights here, or like springtime nights. You need the wee fire crackling away. And I love to see the steps. Think of the farmer or whatever walking up here around, looking at his animals, or maybe getting his wheat or tatties out of the field. You'd maybe smell the stovies coming out of the kitchen windy. But yeah, one day it was just abandoned and left. Look how the old gutter brackets is like hanging down. It's sad to see, folks. It's quite a hefty big drainage pipe for the size of the house. But it is amazing to see that it's got electricity and it looks like drainage, but yeah, here it is abandoned. It must have been because it's so remote. It's maybe not so easy for them to come here. But I would love to live in a spot like this. It's so idyllic and peaceful. Imagine coming out here with your coffee in the morning. You could have a bench at each side of the house, so whatever way the wind was blowing, you could sit at the opposite side. Look at this wee room here. Wow, it's like a little porch. There's been a water tank in there. Also, that may have even been like the bathroom, and that'll explain why these big pipes is coming out. Wow, folks, we're taking it all in, documenting the history without actually going in. Look how this window's got the lever thing on the outside, which is unusual. Normally that's on the inside when I've seen that. Maybe these windows are just a mix and match from something that was previous, like an old house. And I didn't really want to go shifting this and pushing in. The wee cupboard, that's what it looks recent in places, that's the thing. But yeah, other bits look super old, like the old Bakelite switches and the old wiring and the coat hooks. So it is incredible. There must be loads of different layers of history and times gone by. Look at the wee cupboard. Yeah, we're taking one last look. See the shape of the walls, folks? It's like curved and sloped up to the roof. Just look at this here, it's just mad. An absolute madness once again on the channel. Oh, aye. And look, this will be the bath out of the house potentially. It's one of those old cast iron ones. Look at the detail. Maybe used as a bit of a trough now. But look, that's when things were built properly. The old bath. Boy was probably chilling out in there after a hard day's farming. And it's still got the chimney cans. The house last week that I explored, the chimney had fallen right down through the roof and smashed it all to pieces. That's why I enjoy video and stuff like this, folks. And every year it can change. Maybe by next year one of these chimneys will have gone down and taken away the history. That was maybe the farmer having a refreshing drink when he was up here on a summer's day. Having a little orange juice, maybe an iron brew. And then looking out over this, maybe at one time more forested. Let's have a look at these older little buildings down here as well. That's a proper scene of abandoned history once again on the channel, folks. Incredible places like this, built into the landscape at an ancient time, surviving the wild weathers, the wild winters and the crazy strong winds out here. And look at these more ancient buildings. Maybe an original older farmhouse, or there could have been an older farmhouse there which was destroyed to make way for that one. This may have been the sheds for it. And look, the doorway's been in the middle. And look at these other little buildings here. See, maybe this farm just used the lime kiln over at the far side. Or maybe it had its own little lime kiln which is somewhere else, or maybe even gone. Look, there's been a newer kind of shed, but it's really the old abandoned history we're interested in, folks. Like some of these old wall lines. This must have been the edge of the farm here. Look at the size and the height of this wall. We'll have a little look at this, because this must have been the animal sorting area, which is like related to that house there. I need to get a photograph for this angle here, folks. Look at that. Check it out, folks. I always promise you the coolest of locations on this channel, and when I see things like that, it's just got that character. It's almost like a post-apocalyptic scene of Scotland. Look how this massive quartz stone's been built into the dike. That's the kind of details of history that I love seeing along the way. Each of those little nuggets, it adds to the adventure. And we still need to get back to the car about 2 miles over there before sunset. Yeah, look, this is the old kind of animal area here, and the boy must still use it for some various equipment. But it's cool to see how the old wall's constructed here. And imagine the sheep, like the sheep getting sorted out for the old crofting days in the land. What an amazing place it is, folks. And we're now going to head away from this location, leave it in peace until the next hill walker or explorer comes round. Maybe the farmer this spring when he's lambing, he'll be sitting in there. And look, it looks like he's lost his fender off his tractor up here. It's lying in the grass. This is another interesting little enclosure, look, with the wee track going between the old building, what must have been a field. And I can hear the water running. They maybe had a source of fresh water, or maybe that's where those drainage pipes come out of the house. They're probably down under the ground just dumping into one of these burns or streams. And look at this, for the way back folks, we're going a different route. We came basically in right through the forest and along where those fields are, so the way back we're away to basically head down this track and probably through where this field is. Check it out folks, we're nearly at this farm here and we've got a flock of sheep here at the far side. Shout out to these other hill walkers that we can see behind us. Yeah, we weren't sure if we were even meant to be coming around this way folks, then we saw a group of hill walkers, we're like, phew, perfect. Look at this here, there's been some serious old groundworks here as well. This has been a mad agricultural land at a certain time. So this could have been an ancient settlement here, and maybe over the years the farm's just gotten renewed and the newer sheds have slowly been moved further down the glen. It is interesting just to see the amount of walls. There's been a serious big wall line there. And look, there's an ancient old cart, which at one time was probably pulled for a horse. It's just lying there in the long bushes. Wow, ancient history right here folks. And there's a big JCB kicking about this side. Maybe doing some of the old hill roads at the far side, because I'm sure I could see the tracks from the digger when I was walking on the road back there. And basically we're at the opposite side of the glen now to the last adventure when we were heading along through the fields. I could hear dogs barking, but I don't know where they are now. As long as we don't get attacked by dogs folks. Look at this folks, this is in case you don't know where you're going. Both ways look backwater, or that way, backwater. So no matter where you go, you end up at the same place folks. Check out this landscape here. This might have been an old croft as well for back in the day folks, but a lot of them is just modernised, kind of compared to the ones we explored like further along. They were just obviously abandoned at an ancient time. I'm totally gassed here folks, and it's probably like 4 degrees Celsius. There's actually snow on the very back hills today. Oh, there's been like a wee walkway through there at one time. Maybe back in the days of that, the walls that we saw back there. We're always piecing together the history as we go. Look at this old gatepost even folks, the character of that in the land.
And that was extended in here.
Yeah, see the noise of that crow? Yeah. Look at the state of that tree. Looks like something from a horror film, folks. Look at this, folks, down in the hollow, way down there. That's the waters of the Backwater Dam, which is obviously a man-made dam built in 1969 and opened by the late Queen Elizabeth. She was down there, and my granny and that actually went to see it opening back in the 60s. It was like a local highlight for everybody, and they had grandstands and it was a main event. And it stands here in the land now, looking incredible. And it's cool to document it from these angles here that we've never seen it before. It's a true feat of engineering here, folks, of industrial proportions. Look at this, folks, this is the paradise lands that I always promise you on the videos. Look at all these crows. And yeah, look at the size of the hills way in the distance through there. Yeah, the sun is almost setting on this adventure, folks. It's just at the top of that hill, shining over into this valley. And we've just basically got to follow this track, and it leads away around here, I think past like another couple of little farms and stuff. And I think there's like a wee abandoned looking building and stuff down here, so it's crazy just to see all this along the way. I'm not sure what all these crows are doing tonight, but they're just fleeing about non-stop. Look at this, folks, as we come around this land, we're just coming around to the second farm now, and look, it's actually like, it's almost like that shed's up on stilts, that's the way it looks. But look at this breathtaking scene once again, the way the light shines over the land. It's just so special to explore it and share it with the world to see. Look at that, folks, there's a random stone circle there in that garden. I'm not sure what it is, but there's a pipe, it's maybe a water tank. It's constructed with the red stones, and from the top of the hill it looks like who even knows what. But it's a strange construction. Look at this, folks, there's an old kind of abandoned building here with the roof off it, right down at this marshy bit, and I was just theorising it could be like an old mill shed. They maybe had a feed of water or whatever coming down, turning a water wheel at a certain time. Sometimes cool to theorise that history as we walk around. And look at this, the way the embankment's been built with the stones. Yeah, look at the old wooden door and the wee window. That's the character of these adventures that I absolutely love, folks. These wee nuggets, can you actually see in? Oh, I look. Looks like the roof's recently come off. I wonder if it was maybe like asbestos and they've properly cleaned it away. Yeah, wow. It's a proper little abandoned shed, but most likely, well, I was going to say still used by the farmer, but again, there's no much really there to use anymore. Oh look, it's got the old animal feeding areas, and look at that there, is that an old sheep dip or something? Yeah, there's a bit there, maybe an old silage pit. Here, check out this old animal feeders here. This is proper old fashioned farm like. Check this out, folks. The floor looks more solid over here. Look at this, this is what I love to see. The old details of the farming, almost gone, because check it out. Asbestos roof and stuff like that. And look at the old openings. That would have been where the farmer would have like filled up the feed things. He would have thrown it through that hole into here. And that's basically what this is, an old farm shed. Wow, is that just like pigeon droppings and stuff? It's crazy, folks, the amount of years that's passed since stuff like this was in its prime. It's just amazing to see. Check this out, folks, we've just noticed this crazy bit of history. It's like an old dung heap or whatever for the farm, but that's not what we've come to see. This is an old shed. And check it out, look at this pipe. It could be backwater dam related, we are thinking, or it could be related to that circle of stones that we saw up there. What even is this? Whoa, there's a pipe leading away down. Look, somebody's put a stick in though to see how deep it actually is. So it's not obviously that deep. It's only like 2 feet. Oh, there's something like a lid. Look at that, I wonder what it is. It's something to do with... something to do with the backwater dam must be, folks. Interesting to document though, because look how much of the shed is now gone. Probably blown away by the wind. Oh, look at this. Again, what I think they're doing here, measuring the flow of water which is going into the dam, so then they can accurately measure it. Look how cool this is. Wow. We literally nearly missed this little detail, folks. What a scene of Scotland once again. So I'm guessing that's some of, that'll be like measuring the height of the water table. Oh, is it telling you all about the backwater bylaws of the land? From 1980, the Act was first published. So the reason it's got this on here, folks, is because the backwater dam is actually for human consumption. It's the main feed of water, basically, that tops up the Lantrathan waterworks. And this must be some way of them monitoring the groundwater around here, and also the amount of water flowing in to the backwater dam. And like, this is just, I think this is more farm related, but interesting to see nonetheless. But I think that stone circle up there is maybe some dam related waterworks as well. It's super fascinating to see all the different stuff that was done in the 60s to do with the waterworks. Yeah, see, this may have been like a bit of a silage pit, or even a dung heap. Is that Gav T? Shout out Gav T, folks, if that's what your name is and you built this shed. He's maybe an old man, kenning how old a place like this is. Yeah, we'll head back along. It's so cool just to see stuff like this. You think you've seen it all on an adventure, folks, and then you just keep finding more and more little nuggets. And even right here, there's old remains of what must be like farm machines or old bits of buildings. Look at this, folks. The little burn comes along here and meanders its way down under this bridge, which is quite a fair construction. Oh aye, they've had to put this wall here to stop it eroding away at the embankment. But aye, the water's so deep there, and that'll be because all the flow, the angle it's coming, compared to the wall at this side, where all the sediment will be left. And then the calmness of the water at this side, where we were just standing a minute ago. Wow folks, real Scotland. Crazy adventures into wonderlands. It's almost like reading an incredible novel when you go on an adventure like this. The amount of different chapters in the adventure, of the different little nuggets that you find and you explore, and you realise they're from different times in history, or they're to do with different historical wonders in the land, like the farming, or even the dam, the waterworks, the things that's been done way up here for the people getting fresh water way down in the Angus towns, and even places like Dundee, the Scottish city. Yeah, look how wild this is. One day we'll have to go on an adventure along the top there, out onto that hill, and see if there's any other abandoned wonders. And maybe that road links right up with that path where the house is that we saw, because that's maybe how the backwater dam sign had it pointing both directions. Check it out folks, we're now further up away from all those farmlands that we were at a minute ago. And look at this view. The sky's kind of getting this grey colour here just before sunset. And it's funny, we were just laughing because in the last adventure, when we first came into this land, we walked down the fence line and went down to the water's edge, and it felt like we were walking for miles along through the water, and we came back up to the side of the field and we had literally just gone like 30 metres, but it felt like we had been going like half a mile or more. It was just so funny to see. And look, there's been a mole here digging its way around. You can almost see where it's been running around in circles, chewing up the field. But yeah, what a paradise land folks. It's been amazing in this adventure to see this wee cottage. Right folks, that's us just about back at the car, and what a majestic landscape we have explored today. It's been so interesting just to see a little corner of Scotland that we had never seen before, document a piece of history that we had never documented before with that old cottage. Obviously to the farmer and the cottage owner we come with the greatest respects. We didn't want to go and start opening up the doors and forcing our way in, because obviously his livestock could get harmed if it went into a place like that. But look at this view here for the outro, looking over the waters of the backwater dam. I'm going to end this one here folks. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye for me, goodbye for the channel DJ, and we'll catch you very soon for the next adventure, wherever we end up going.